because only very few are allowed to. Oh my God, it's going true. It's going true. Oh, good. I know, it's just like, it's so weird that every time, well, I really don't broadcast from the computer. I usually don't. Um, I don't know why. I used to like every day, Today's day it is. Um, Let me see. The 10th. It is Thursday, March 10th, 2022. Personally, I had very, very good news, but that shit seemed to have triggered depression, because I don't know, it's just like the mind said that, that feel weird, I guess. We're trying to find out, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get into that either. I just want to talk about, oh my God, I'm trying to center and I'm making it worse. I don't like to have a lot of space. I'm always like obsessed with that. I don't know why. Okay, so now it's central. So I just hear our beloved vice president. I heard that she's a mess. She's a mess wherever she goes. It's just spreading joy. Listen to some of the. I haven't actually heard this, but
Ago, the Biden administration is telling NATO, let's stay out of this for now. But Poland and these Baltic countries, and I imagine Romania too, are wondering, well, what makes them think Putin's going to stop in Ukraine? It looks like from the reports that I saw this morning, Carl, that
okay, so yeah, that's more fear mongering. I don't even know who they are, to tell the truth. I just decided to put it on. I've been following for like, what's it been like, 2.5? No, not a half weeks, like 2 weeks. It's gonna be like 2 weeks since the intervention. It came out, and I can tell you right now, she gave this speech this morning in Poland. She didn't even know where she was. She said, "Yeah, I'm the North flank or whatever." I'm trying to see if I can find any more on bias. Um, oh no, that's in my native language. So anyway, I mean, it's not important. I mean, like, we know what she sounds like. We know how she is. She was asked about, what gonna be if there was gonna be any special provisions for refugees. And I don't know if she was drugged or, she had been drinking or something. But she just started laughing. She just started laughing like, it's just like, and she'd say, "Oh well, we know a friend in need is a friend indeed." And then she was trying to get ghetto, and like she cannot even get ghetto. It was like because she was like raised, by the Indians, the ones with the one, not the the reservation. Yeah, although I have plenty, tons of reservations with this character, with this cookie character, which it seemed like the way it is, she's gonna become the next president. I mean, it's like I had a sense that she already know what the agenda is, what the you know. Let me check if I have volume. I haven't recorded on this, and I remember the first time, or sometime I recorded with this, and it did not have sound. It's just like I'm like I'm like so sad just remembering that, it's not wasted time, obviously, because any any experience, sound check. Check, baby, check. Any experience. There's my gorgeous voice. Casting from my house, I'm allowed to. If you got a PC, you're allowed to broadcast by the slave master. Because if you try to do it from a tablet or whatever, they just don't let you unless you got. I think right now, I think it's like 10,000 subscribers. I don't know. It's a popularity contest. It's not about trying to get solutions, because if we have that mentality of just looking for problem solving, then we'll be listening to everybody, including those with you know no subscriptions, no views, all this stuff. Just prostitution. It is prostitution. Like, oh my God, gotta take this class on how to you know, avoid the algorithms. And it's like, how stupid you sound. You are fighting against a computer program, and it's insane. The days that we live in. That people are so concerned. With that. It's just getting worse. I was hoping that it will get a little bit better or something. I don't know. I don't know. I guess what was I thinking, right? I have no reason to believe that, but because that's just what it is. But everybody like, hey, subscribe. Hey, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'm just saying, how annoying that is. Because I had a little bit of hope that we will be the anti-television. I had a little bit of hope we was going to be the opposite of television. That. And but you see, most of the people who start broadcasting, like, oh, they want to be just like television. Like they even say, television quality. Or professional. It's not about professional. It's about getting the truth. That's why we choose not to have any advertisers, nothing. And even so, I have to start again, like every 4 months, 3 months, depending on what they don't. And as a matter of fact, this last time they left me, I would say, alone, because strange things happen. But I mean, not just because single that or anything. Just that's just the day. Like I say, the day how they're gonna program this week or today. How they're gonna program it today. The computer program, the software, to not be redundant. Oh, how are they gonna do it? Like, you got to think about that. You got to think about that. One for me, one rule of thumb is that since it's changing, so you can use the same every day, and just hope that that's not program what you're saying. Any of the words that you're saying. I don't know, but I mean, I just you know, so like did not plan to be on this thing. Like I said, I've been feeling a little bit depressed. Not depressed. It's like the whites, they call it. I don't know. They call it meh, meh, mu, ma. I don't know. They say something like that. Ma. Which, I mean, I don't think I have to explain that one, right? I'll go out of the house tomorrow. I just like. I mean, every year is the same. Around March, April, I start getting depressed, because it's like it's too effing long. Come on, the winter is too effing long. And I don't think going back home it's gonna be feasible ever. So I have to stay in the freezing cold, and because medical condition, I have to stay put. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got it good. I got it good. I got my medication, you know. Even when I lost this apartment because I had to sign a lien in order for me to get any help. Yeah, you gotta be probably naked. If you got something, they won't take your case. You're gonna be like, uh, I'm not gonna say I work hard because I know people that work, and sometimes, oh, I just got disconnected. Oh, started spinning like that. I don't want to get distracted. I want to change the screen because if I look at it, I'm still in a state of shock. Come on. And I got to see some Ronald Reagan, that he was like, I practically saying, I don't give a F, I don't give a whatever. We're gonna be like doing this and that. And of course, back then, 1985, I was 20 years old, and it's like I didn't know the gravity of his speech. Of course, back then we did not have. I mean, I say we as a planet entity, we did not have hypersonic directable nuclear weapons, right? Missiles, nuclear missiles. So it's like, wow. Which is like the more I hear about them, it's just like, if, and then you wonder, just they are product of desperation and they're product of fear, because I was listening to this Colombian guy the other day explaining about it and saying, that he had no idea. I mean, I'm not going to say that he got like he's not even a physicist or anything, but he was very impressed to see, how because of the plasma, which is like thousands of degrees hot, it had been impossible to direct those missiles, once they came out. That's what he's saying. I'm just like, I'm still in shock. But they did. They found a way, even through the plasma, to make them directables. And China and Russia got it. We don't have it. We don't have those. We don't have those. And to think, we don't even need that. We don't even need that. Just east of Mississippi, we have like almost 100 plants. I don't know why they call it plants because they're exact opposite of a plant. A plant give you happiness, give you life, give you oxygen, give you everything. I mean, not necessarily a plant, a tree. That's a tree. Is a tree a plant? I don't even know. With this Western mentality of compartmentalizing everything, you gotta, you gotta question everything and anything. But wow, just still thinking, wow, they scare us to death with Trump saying that he had all the extreme rights riled up, and they're all like, and turned out to be a bunch of, kitty cats. I mean, like going out in khakis with tiki torches and like, and everybody was laughing. Come on. And then January 6th came, and it looked like a gay parade. And you go like, oh my God. It's like so effing disappointing. These are the people I see at Reese Beach every year. All these broadcasts, what they call themselves, spinsters or hipsters, or I don't know. That was like a long time ago. I'm sure now they're calling themselves something else too. So they keep thinking themselves they're relevant or something. They would have been relevant, right, if they actually had actually just made us think, made us reflect. Instead, they made us laugh. What's that with that gay guy with no shirt, and he had like I don't know, was that like from the waist down he had like a suit like a goat. Was he that the Greek god, whatever? I don't know. I never even read anything. It's just like when you scroll down on that app, I give it the bird. When you scroll, you see all these. Even like I keep disabling. I don't want to see the videos. I don't want to see the videos. They are not respecting us at all in that effing app. Now they're suggesting us all this garbage. I follow like 1,000 people. If I needed any suggestions, I would let you know. It's like that's when I say, this damn help is taking way too many liberties. I mean, we already use a damn app. We're making you billions of dollars, and like that's not enough. That is not enough. You gotta watch more and more advertisement. And I'm like, can you imagine? I was just thinking about. Can you imagine if we had something inserted? Oh my god, like that, and you cannot stop watching the crap. Can you imagine? I can't. I can't imagine that. To have you. Well, I mean, we are already hostage in our own body, in our own body, which is not our own, as we just found out, because they can put anything with this Patriot Act 2.0. It's not about the cell phones and all the shit. They already got all that, right? They can listen, they can walk in, they can whatever. Steal, license to kill everything. So now they had to have this slippery slope to listen. We don't want you to give it to nobody else. That's it's not. Don't think bad. Don't think. You know. I don't want to think bad, but you're gonna tell me and like, I don't know. And then you see these people like zombies. Now I know why say a lot of people talking about zombies because you see a lot of people just doing some crazy shit out of nowhere. And yes, we've seen a lot of actors. I'm gonna sound like Kamala, right? You've seen it on television, whether you watch it or not, whether you saw it or not. I don't know how you say this language. I forgot. Watch or see. I mean, should we have the big black cock? I mean, no, no, no. I'm sorry. The British Broadcasting Company, the BBC. I don't know. Let us know if you say whether you watch it or not. It don't mean it did not happen. Ha ha ha. And then she tried to get on, and you're like, ah, I went a little bit off this script. It's like you're not funny at all. This is the problem with feminism that make us believe that we are funny, that we are beautiful, that we are thin, that we are young, that we are like, worthy of anybody, and that is not true. We are not competitive. And now we are seeing that firsthand. I mean, like we're watching it. We're watching it. I mean, like these past elections here in New York City, um, November, you know, 2020, November 2020, 31 women won the elections. Thank you. Gracias, chiquito. You sing so beautifully. I just adore him. Oh, I wish I can show him to you, but I don't want to touch it because it's connected with a cord. That was beautiful. And I wake up to that. In New York City, can you believe that? It's like we suffer just because we want to suffer. The moment that we realize, it's like, beautiful. I don't know. I don't even got words for that. Just go straight to the spirit, straight to the soul, straight to everything. Like I don't know. Just if it wasn't for them, I think I would be like even more depressed. Yeah, this cookie character. I mean, like I was gonna say she's gonna be the next president. Well, I say she, but she's not the one with the power. It's her husband. She chose to marry her slave master and or whatever, or whatever. She had never. I mean, as feminists say, oh no, we it's never our fault. It's some wicked men that's probably harassing her and telling her what to say, what to do. Okay, so I got just I thought I was logged out. Um, I forgot that I didn't want no distractions. You see, it's like we get this addiction or whatnot. No, it's addiction, it's conditioning to look at screens, to look at screens. You see how I looked at the screen just now? We don't look at the crib, we don't look at our own children, but sure, we look at screens. That is horrible. We cannot even ask him, where's your baby at? Who's watching your baby right now? Why can still we have not have nurseries at work with multiple cameras, watching them while we are at work? Why can't we? Why can't even breastfeed in public? Why can't we 100 years of feminism for what? For what? We call that shit money? It don't matter how many degrees we get on salary negotiation. We're not going to do it because we are not wired to negotiate money. We are anti money. We are like, anyway, I mean, like, we are not. And it's just like, those rap videos with these little kids, little boys in their upper teens with fake chains, with fake cars, rentals and escorts and the children watching those videos and like, oh my god, they cannot stop thinking of anything else. It's like it is the same thing with feminism. Putting all these women in front of us and saying that they're like bad They are like, the greatest thing. All you got to do is just dig around, like the Supreme Court justice. She didn't get there by herself. You know, her husband did it for her. Her husband did it for her. Come on, what a coincidence. You know, the three most prominent black faces in the United Slaves, they all got a white spouse, like Clarence Thomas. Oh my God, I hate this language. That Clarence, which is anything but Clarence, selling out his own people, and that's been taught in grade school and high school and college as a role model, like Colin Powell, war criminals like Condoleezza Rice, like, these, and our African American brothers and sisters, they're perfectly okay with that. They're perfect. They wonder, why our children are so easily abducted into a life of a hustle. Why? I mean, that's all you like, oh, Nicki Manure. I was like, oh, it's the bad bitch. The other one, Stallion. I don't know, Stallion. What Stallion is? I don't even want to think about it. It make me nauseous. These women, women with all the right chromosomes and whatever, but right here, destroy, destroy. It's just like perpetuating, their grandmother, their mother, themselves, their children already twerking in diapers and like you. We are living in the apocalypse. While all the older ones, these older ratchets clapping at the little baby in the crib. They just had, I think, Tarian Raish. He just had a school for children. I'm not even gonna say it, but you know what kind of school that is. Um, oh, what's the problem? What's the problem? Like, somebody said, come on, we're all crooked. We all crooked. We are making your money. Yeah, but shit, your own babies? Your own babies? Come on. That's just, that is just sickening. I think I want to hear the speech again. I'm sorry. I think I changed my mind. I'm just like, did I dream about all the stuff that she said? How come it's our top priority to defend people who are hundreds of miles away? Hundreds of miles away. And that's top priority. Top priority.
Ability to fight against.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the whole thing. You see, let me put it in the beginning.
And commitment between the United States and Poland based on shared values and priorities. I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank and our NATO allies.
Northeastern?
And what is at stake at this very moment? What are principles around the NATO alliance, and in particular,
the same ones who have murder, leaders all over the planet just so we can get their goal. And then we call it a war instead of what's it called? A heist. Heist. I hate this language. Haste is quick, right? I don't know. Heist is armed robbery. I was watching Professor James Smalls saying, "Stop that shit." That was just mugging. That was just robbing. On live television. Gaddafi, the banks, the gold, the art, the treasury, everything. We took everything, in the name of moral sanctions, moral economic sanctions. Supposedly, economic sanctions are moral, to keep the morality, the level of morality. So, in less than 1 week, we got like almost 10,000 sanctions on the Federation in less than 1 week. We are doing things so despicable as to say, like, hey, if you are a corporation in the Federation, we're going to give you tax breaks and we're going to give you some money. That's what we're doing. They announce it. Guess what? They're used to that. They thrive. And we know that. They know that. Everybody know that. I cry over here about the winters. Over there, the Russians tell me, what winter you talking about? Come to the Federation and we'll show you what a damn winter is. And you see these mofos with no coat or, just with something. They go in the ice at the beach, riding on bears and shit. Some crazy ass shit that they do. So I coined that term, and I said I've been doing it for weeks already. These are the kamikazes. It's a rock band, except the rock is liquid, soft. It's a soft rock band, and that's what they've been doing. And I was watching this documentary on the 1920s. The same shit. And not even, they didn't even recover when it came the Great Depression. Oh, manufacture. And the father of John F. Kennedy, that even my grandma used to worship, that's how he became, who that family became, to the stock exchange. Crooked AF. It's and they still run. Just from watching that, I was like, but they let him keep going. The stock exchange and all this stuff, they kept it going. And now you got documentaries telling us everything you guys did and like whatever. No consequences. As if the statute of limitations on murder, there's no statute of limitations on murder. But everybody watch it and that's it. You watch it. Shit. Now they put them all together. This talking about the BBC. It's called A Century of the Self. A Century of the Self. And you get sick. You get sick watching that shit. And using of very, very most intimate emotions and everything, It's like, I'm talking about 100 years. No, not 100 years. I don't know. A long time before Cambridge Analytics or Cambridge Analytica. I don't know. They had two. I guess it was for Latin America. I don't know. And people was like, oh, which celebrity you are more liked? And answering. And I had friends that I met in person, they still doing it. They still answering that shit. They post it and they send it to everybody, you know, when I find out, what's your favorite color, what's your favorite this, and just, like we saw with Cambridge Analytics, they go through all your friends on Facebook and get all their information and so forth and so forth. That's how they won the elections. That's how they got Brexit, with this so supposedly to be acculturated British, which is like, how did they brand themselves as the most educated sector of the world population? Propaganda. Madison Avenue. That's how they did it. I mean, the most barbaric pirates. And it's like, oh no, we how they grab the teacup and leave the pinky up. They gotta leave the pinky up, and they talk to you, please, and oh my God, it's just oh. I mean, every time I get to talk to one of these, it's just like, oh, it's lovely, lovely. Oh my God, so beautiful. Like you can tell how fake they're trying to appear, kind and sweet and polite and courteous. You see how it's like, so I guess that's what they call it, the dissonance, the cognitive dissonance, right? That they put on us. I mean, we all watch them do great things. We all watch them great things. I was 10 years old and they took me out to see Superman. He saved the world many times and everything. It was just everybody. And then they used to put on the Little House on the Prairie. Yes.
The issue and the importance of defending sovereignty and territorial integrity, in this case of Ukraine.
Okay, so they united slaves talking about territorial integrity. As a Mexican, I can tell you that's like, what the hell? You took more than 60% of our land and you call it a treaty? You call it a sale, as always. They have over here in Inwood Hill Park, they have a rock and say that's where the purchase of the island of Manhattan took place, supposedly. And people they go there and take pictures and stuff. It was a purchase. They say they gave them like what, 2 mirrors. And you ever watch that movie, American Psycho? That's I think did not even begin to scratch the surface. It's like the movie Precious. And when I saw it, I got sick to my stomach back then, not knowing the truth. I even made videos saying that that was a vile attack on our sisters. Perpetuating that myth. The angry black woman. How dare you? How dare you? We're all scared. We're all scared. We're all terrified. So I just gotta say, you're great, sister. You're great. So the territorial integrity, that's our mission in life. Not the millions and millions of homeless that we got right here.
Of the guiding principles around the NATO alliance, and in particular, the issue and the importance of defending sovereignty and territorial integrity, in this case of Ukraine. As President Duda has described, we have been witnessing for weeks, and certainly just in the last 24 hours, atrocities of unimaginable proportion. A maternity hospital,
Those are the ones from the what's again Zelensky. That's Zelensky to their own people in all like Donbass. I forgot, how many. I know there's they have keeping a toll of all the bombings and all this stuff that they're doing, and because they hate Russians. That's why we put them in there. That's how Obama went and removed the president that was not giving away, the land. Now even the president's child is one of the top CEO is one of these gas corporations over there in Ukraine, and they say he's been doing, I don't know, he's been going running amok with Ukrainian men and women. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. It's hard to believe because the demon rats, I mean, some of the Republicans, they just want to be funny when they report. Like I say, like like that segment we began to listen to. Just like you're lying. It's like I mean, if it wasn't, there was no internet, I probably would be right now telling you, enough is enough. The Federation gotta be stopped. Whatever. I'll be probably be here because I used to be drinking the Kool-Aid. I used to rush to get home, 10 o'clock news, whatever. It's just like, please, keep me informed. And I felt so good. I congratulated myself for doing my civic duty of, you know, keeping myself up to date in history, in politics, as it was made, you know. And this is why, things is getting like really scary. Shit's getting really scary. Because it's not like, it's not what it used to be, like, remember like the whip cracker used to just, not even didn't need to touch the damn whip. Everybody run. Everybody run to greet him. Everybody run to whatever. But everybody run from the whip. Now they don't even need whip. Miracle Whip don't even need a whip. That's how it is. Like places, they don't even need to say colored or whatever. It's just like we all stay away, right? We all stay away from that shit. I mean, not everybody, I know. I mean, the help, they choose to stay there, for a couple bucks. And I still say, like, I don't know. It's like I cannot even imagine myself like the ones that they was busted in Ukraine. If I was, their family, I would say like leave them there so they learn a lesson. How the hell you gonna go there? It's like, but it's a sign of the times. These youths, because they seem youths, they know how to do researches and everything on the phone better than nobody, better than nobody. But they choose not to do their homework. When they go to these neighborhoods, when they go to these countries, I'm like, I mean, like you are much closer than I am, and I already know that's the new capital of the fascists. I knew it was like a quick search. You can see them all with their tattoos, with their flags, with their symbols, with their, they all got, what's it called, this and that. Well, this is more like over here. They got even this, like, they got so many ways, to talk to each other. And we choose not to see it. I'd say it's a choice because the young generations, I've seen it. I saw one time this boy, he had like this, and it was like, shh. I didn't even see him touching the damn phone and going here, going there, doing this, blah 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 blah. It's like it was part of his. I've been talking about that for years, and it freaking creeped me out. And to me, you don't even. I cannot, I like 3 times, and that shit don't even happen because I feel like they are surrender already. They was born into this, so this basically was integrated somehow, not physically yet. And that's Gates. That's his interviews that he's saying that you know the good news is that we're gonna get rid of cell phones because we're gonna put it inside. Oh God.
Children's Hospital.
Yeah, Children's Hospital. Well, I think it's impolite to let somebody smoke by themselves. Let me smoke with Kamala.
Where we have witnessed pregnant women who are there for care.
Oh, but we did not see the pregnant women in Dominican quote unquote republic, which I don't think is a republic, it's a brothel. So we did not see the pregnant women in the hospitals being dragged while giving birth in Dominican Republic. We did not see that right here, right next to us. We did not see. As a matter of fact, their so-called white president, Arab president, Abinader, he came to New York for a whole week to the tri-state area, and Chuck Schumer welcomed him personally and say he was the wonderful president. He labeled him the wonderful president. Why? Because at least one child of every family have to join the pigs. That's why.
For one reason, being taken out because they required care because of an act of violence, unprovoked,
Oh my God.
unjustified. I am here in Poland as an expression
Are you sure, Kamala? You know where you at?
of the enduring and important relationship between the United States and Poland that again has been long-standing, but in particular on the issue of Ukraine is unified and is clear. We will do everything together in partnership, in solidarity, to support what is necessary at this very moment.
Have you seen the map with the area of it's like in red, all the Russian inhabitants in Ukraine? It's like more than the area of Russians, and what they call them, because they don't want to say they're Russian, because then the United States is going to look bad, right? So they call them um, um, that they are Russian speakers, Russophones or whatever they call it, Russophones.
In terms of the humanity, today we discussed, Mr. President, many issues that relate to our special bond also, because I will say as a point of personal, we have a substantial Polish American community in my hometown of Los Angeles, but throughout the United States, who understands the relationship that we have on many levels, including the diplomatic, but also cultural relationships that span generations. And so through all of that, and in the spirit of those relationships and our shared commitment to the importance of international norms and rules, you and I discussed today many important topics, in particular as it relates to the Eastern flank. And we talked specifically about what we care deeply about in terms of our commitment, the United States commitment to Article 5. I've said it many times, I will say it again. The United States commitment to Article 5 is ironclad. The United States is prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory. The United States takes seriously that an attack against one is an attack against all. We are here today to restate that commitment, but also to do what we must do to reinforce our support of Poland and our allies through the EU and NATO alliance, in particular as it relates to troop deployment.
Through troop deployment, we already gave them how many millions and millions of dollars, and I'm telling you, this is only the second week. I support, let's say, 90% President Putin, because I've looked at his track record, and compared to our track record, what's it like, 46 presidents that broke every single treaty we have signed, including NAFTA, and which it was a very advantageous treaty, by the way. Just so you can have an idea, we went from the healthiest country, we went to the sickest country with NAFTA, making us sick with all the Franken food and the fast food chains everywhere, convenience stores. It's warfare. I mean, like, everything we do, it's that, because we are what, controlled by the same ones. We're controlled by the same ones. I don't care where you are. I don't care, I mean, like, yeah, like anybody can see this, but there's nothing they don't control. There's nothing they don't control. Some by fear, some by, cash, some by safety, security, protection. And that's just, I mean, For us, that shit is horrific, horrifying. To them, that's normal. To them, it's normal. You know, always been, always been. You know, feudalism and barbarism. You know, synonyms. Synonyms. No salaries. You don't get a break. You don't get nothing. You get protection if if you know you behave. Only if you behave. How quick we forgot. How quick we forgot. You know, anybody, anybody. You know. Oh, the master or the boss, the patron, whatever name, you know, whip cracker, whatever, like your daughter, your son, your wife. That's it. There was no like, no, that was it. You better put him, in the whatever horse, whatever, and you send them like this. Otherwise, there's gonna be hell to pay. You just got a real history class. Because that shit happened in my country, even very recently. Very recently. You know, that was it. Well, it is your wedding night, but you know who get first. You know who get first. That was it. That was it. Talking about Professor James Smalls when he got married. He got married at the house of the Honorable Malcolm X sister house, Miss Ella Collins, and that was one of the elders gave him this advice saying like, don't let anybody know that you love each other. That was it. Of course, it's like wedding day, but he never forgot that. Never forgot. Just like, why would they say, don't let nobody know that you love each other? Because that's just the way it always was. Something so horrific. I think sadism. I don't know. It's just one of the favorite expressions of the devil. How can you like enjoy that? They do, they do, they do, they do. You know, not only create hunger, but take video and super HD, 20,000 pixels, everything. And to them, that's like porn. That what's Elizabeth's husband that died. I think he died last year. He said he wanted to come back as a virus. Because there's too many people. There's too many people. They say who they are, but we don't believe them. We refuse to believe them. Right? We're gonna go like, no, I don't want to believe them. Believe them. Why should I believe them when that shit is so scary? When they tell us, with all the internet and the phones and everything, every day we have less and less and less information because we are overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed. And we lost all capacity to, I guess, to say react. I don't know. To cope. I'd say to cope, not react. Because even if you're reacting, it don't mean that you're coping. Sometimes, and most of the times, we're reacting to other stuff from our childhood, from last year, from this morning, and we're lashing out at the wrong person. So we are not really coping with the present. We started coping with childhood or whatever, well, not really. It's just because you're acting out on it. It don't mean that you're actually processing, understanding, managing, controlling it. Because until you don't look at your trauma, at your wounds in the eye, and first, you gotta kiss them. You gotta kiss all those wounds because nobody else will. You gotta go, and kiss all your wounds because we deserve mercy. We deserve compassion. All of us, the mulatto races as well, because we are your children. We are the children of the original men and women. Some we are very, very, very distant cousins, but we are the same family, and because of the fact that we're talking about the original DNA, the original frequency, the first story in this planet, and probably in the universe. It's the first story. All right, we are like, third, fourth, fifth, 10th story later, pretending to be, the original story. And just the fact that people, they say like, what? Those? They don't even know how to write, because that's how we've been conned. We think that, we need to read, we need to go to universities, we need to go. No, everything we got is already in here. It's called, well, that's what they call it. They call it epigenetics. Epigenetics show us literally everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. It's a hard drive. It's a hard, it's, memory. It's in a memory. Water is memory. So you said crystals, and that's all we got. That's why there's a war against minerals, against mineralization, against the replenishment, the remineralization of the planet. There's a war on that. Just this frankenfood absolutely got nothing. And the other day again, I saw these humble people. Oh no, so the food stamps don't cover the vitamins. But don't worry, we're gonna pay it with our money, and pulling money out of like whatever they could to buy the bottle of vitamins that they're gonna pee out. You see, so even if they don't want to make money, they're making serious money, and that is that is the truth. That is the truth. That's why you see that blow after blow after blow after blow after blow. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, whatever. Where he got that last name from? I think that shit is either racist or his ancestors was, from the river. I mean, I don't know. Like in my native language, we have a lot of Prieto, Negrete, Moro. We have one that is called Matamoro, which is like kill Moors. kill blacks. Like, can you believe that? Oh my God, the algorithm is gonna. And I would say, like, well, people need to change their last names. Probably they were, slave hunters or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't believe at that time. This is when, when Moorish Spain or Iberic Peninsula, when they used to be the kingdom of the Califato of Damask, Damask, Damasco. They used to be like, that's how far they went to the what they call now the Iberic Peninsula, all the way from Damask, and that was so. But supposedly they lost it as always because men think everybody is a human being. That's a mistake, and it don't really matter. I mean, like even like with Russia, I mean, like number one superpower, and for what you cannot. I mean that. I think I was thinking yesterday. The problem is that I was watching a lecture on the feminist state. So right there, when this is what you elicit, this is what you like, the divine feminine, feminine energy. It moved like this. It moved like this. And the entire humanity was always led by masculine energy. And yes, there was great militias or whatever, of 100% women, and there was, I don't know, the equivalent of a female general and queens and presidents and stuff in antiquity. We had Hatshepsut. We had Hatshepsut. There was something extremely rare, like transsexualism going on, that everything is upside down and stuff. They call it penis envy, and they behave like. But no matter how masculine they look, they're still wired, like a woman. They might dress like whatever, and stuff, and sometimes, you might be even fooled into thinking, oh, that's a dude. But then you see the emotionality, the way, and now it's like even biological men are acting like women. They cannot stop punching. I never saw that. It was like I always saw when I mean, this is from somebody who went to grade school, high school, and the other one. So I did 12 years, actually more than 12 years, but but that's a different story. In all boys school, all men school. That's all I went. So I'm telling you, I never saw that shit. I never saw. I mean, not even grudge. You will see them the next day, like whatever, and they beat each other to death, or one of them beat each other to death, and whatever, and then like. But for us, it's like, oh my God, you see bitches like scalp in their hand, scalp in their hand, to the point that bitches gotta put blades in the wig. You know, that's how bad it is with us. Because we are not made for this shit. We like, And you see the bitches, they go like, oh my God, it's like, everybody's so embarrassed and whatever. And she's somewhere else. She's somewhere else. I gotta get that bitch. I'm gonna get that bitch. And it's like, and that's it, become like an obsession. I'm not saying that natural, I mean, I wouldn't know about a masculine energy, but I mean, I say that honestly, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Even my own father, my own baby brother, my grandparents, my uncles, I never saw them being so, passionate and, like whatever, as we are seeing men today. That's alarming. The shit is really alarming. That you see them like the other day I saw this old, you know, quote unquote Mexican or white Mexican journalist used to have the morning show for like 6 hours since 6 in the morning. So he started talking about this celebrity. She died like 10 years ago and she was supposed to be wealthy, beautiful, and white. So I'm gonna just talk about her. Her name is Maria. I'm gonna be talking about Maria and a lot. So you won't believe this. The guy, he looked like he must be at least 75, but he looked like 95 because that pale skin. You know how we look aged. You know, and so talking about when they went to El Patio. I guess that would be the courtyard. I don't know translation, which it was the iconic nightclub in Mexico City to go see this art. You know, I mean, actually, he wasn't bad at the beginning. Like my parents, they went to see him when he came to my mom's hometown and stuff, and he was normal. My parents told me, he was normal. My parents used to talk about that. He was normal. But then he decided to become a monkey and be like, oh, like faggoty and whatever. And people are, I can't stand him like, because of that. Because of that. And then he spin around. And oh, the best times when he fell down. It was like, damn, how's that bleep still alive? How is that bleep still alive? Because he fell off the stage. I mean, it's nothing conducive, nothing worth, making like what's it called, the tributes and saying the best stuff because he was a songwriter. I don't, I didn't think, yeah, I don't know nothing about music, but I didn't think those songs was written properly or whatever. It just didn't make sense sometimes the way the music it seemed faked, forced. Because I'm so used to listening to our African American brothers and sisters, that they actually become part of the music. It's not like the voice is over here and the music, they're just like, they enter into the music and stuff. So I'm spoiled. That I am spoiled. And if I ever go home, I don't know how I'm gonna cope because now there's no music no more because there's been too much bleaching and so. Why was I talking about that? No, I lost my train of thought. Let me get some water while because it's almost finished, halfway through.
We have recently deployed an additional 4,700 American troops to Poland. That's on top of the years of rotation of about 5,000 American troops in Poland. We are pleased to have announced this week that we have directed two Patriot missile defense systems to Poland, and today I can announce that we have delivered those Patriot systems to Poland. We do this as a reminder and as a demonstration of our commitment to the security of our allies and our commitment in particular to Poland at this moment in time. As it relates to the people of Ukraine, they have suffered immensely. When we talk about humanitarian aid, it is because, yes, the assistance is necessary, but what compels us also is the moral outrage.
Oh my God, where do you start with that? Where do you start with that? Or African Americans been suffering worse than anybody else in this planet for more than 400 years. What today it seems irreparable damage. I mean, it's really hard to, to even understand. And I mean, I'm not even, I will refuse to, I don't, if they give me tickets to go to Washington, D.C., I don't think I will be able to go in the museum. So I'm sorry, that is embarrassing for me, but I don't know how people can actually go. I've seen people's reactions and yeah, traumatized for life. They recreate the beginning of the passage where they was put in West Africa. Like they keep walking and the walls keep. I mean, it's too graphic. I mean, sorry, it's just. I mean, it's beyond, but that's who we are. Remember that little girl with the ponytails, for integration. Everybody's spitting on her, calling her like whatever. I mean, that's some effing child abuse, I mean, and I know about them child abuse. I'm not gonna make it about myself, but I know my mommy dearest, and I say dearest just like the movie. Actually, that movie, pale in comparison to my mommy dearest. And she's still alive. God bless her. I don't hate her. I don't nothing. You know, I feel a little bit too petulant to forgive her, because I know that's life, right? That's just life, and whatever you got, you just gotta pay it forward. But I decided when I was like 20 years old not to. I say this shit's gonna stop with me, this freaking trauma, because I knew I was gonna be just like my mom. I just knew it. I knew it, and I got a cat. And there was a couple of times that I lost it with the cat. I didn't touch him, but I felt like, really like I threw some shit around, and it was not about him. It was just like my mom inside of me, which is not really like that, like my mom. I'm not like that, but I think it's the little girl inside of me, and that little girl inside of me, she wants revenge sometimes. But like I say, years ago, I swore to that little girl inside of me. I know I might sound cuckoo, that I was gonna protect her. Those years was over, and stuff, and I gave my word. I gave my word, and I will never allow. That's why I don't have any contact with my relatives, my family, nobody, because I know that little girl start getting, whatever. Okay, you want to call it trauma? Okay, trauma get activated um, really fast, and you start like, but it feel like a little girl is just wreaking havoc inside of me, with the panic attacks, and just like, and just um, and I know she don't even let me do nothing, and I believe she's right. I believe she's right. Do I wish she was healed already, and that she wasn't so emotional sometimes, when we get triggered, especially when she get triggered. I don't know. I feel like that little girl is just. That's why I call her a little girl, because delicate sometimes, delicate, and see like scenario, and you go like, that little girl go like, no, this looked like the same when I was, there in Mexico. It looked like, I don't know. I did 15 years of therapy, and still I feel like there's a lot of stuff to unpack.
That all civilized nations feel when we look at what is happening to innocent men, women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers. When we talk about humanitarian aid, it is because, yes, the assistance is necessary, but what compels us also is the moral outrage that all civilized nations feel when we look at what is happening to innocent men, women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers.
Well, that sounds familiar. Every time I walk by an African American neighborhood, I do feel like, it's just insane. How come the people who built everything, and actually we haven't built anything else since, because we are not investing in new infrastructure. It took us like what, 50 years to make one train station. I think it was two train stations in the Upper East Side. And then it seemed like we got a little better at it, but we spent like, I don't know, like $3 billion to make the Hudson Yards. And it was not even for us. That was for the wealthy with our tax dollars. That's some kind of, that is some kind of outrage.
Who are fleeing everything they've known. Our outrage, which compels not only our security assistance, but our humanitarian assistance. They have suffered immensely. When we talk about humanitarian aid,
I mean, they've been bombed for like 8 years already. They've been bombed. And the media, they got their money. We don't see nothing. Like, like the crackers do, hear no evil, see no evil, feel no evil, whatever they say,
it is because, yes, the assistance is necessary, but what compels us also is the moral outrage
Straight evil
that all civilized nations feel when we look at what is happening to innocent men, women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers.
Right here. What are you talking
who are
about?
fleeing everything they've known.
Come to the Bronx.
Our outrage, which compels not only our security assistance, but our humanitarian assistance, is rooted in the fact that also we support the people of Ukraine who have shown extraordinary courage and skill and their willingness and, yes, ability to fight against Putin's war and Russia's aggression. So today we are also announcing
we have 1,000, at least 1,000 military bases throughout the planet. How many Putin got? Well, hopefully he will have one in so-called South America. What he got to lose? Nothing. We're already saying that he is everything we are. Everything we are, we just spin into them. Because that's just the way we are. We stole like, how many? We stole like $30 trillion national debt. And we say, him, look at him.
In pursuit of what must happen, which is to provide humanitarian assistance, that we will give another $50 billion, the United States will, through the UN's World Food Program to assist with humanitarian aid. The president and I also talked about the fact that, as he mentioned, Poland has taken, in just a very short period of time, in excess of 1.5 million refugees in from Ukraine. And that has put an extraordinary burden on Poland and the people of Poland. And so we will continue with the support that we can give you, Mr. President, in terms of the work that you and the people of Poland have been doing time.
The scary thing is that, we hear this, what they call the Manichaeism, that religion, that either or mentality. What was Reagan and Nixon, whatever, all these thoughts, either you're with us or you're against us. I hear the same thing.
Our support of Poland and our allies through the EU and NATO alliance. The United States' commitment to Article 5 is ironclad. The United States is prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory. The United States takes seriously that an attack against one is an attack against all. We are here today to restate that commitment, but also to do what we must do to reinforce our support of Poland and our allies through the EU and NATO alliance, in particular as it relates to troop deployment. Here today to restate that commitment, but also to do what we must do to reinforce our support of Poland and our allies through the EU and NATO alliance, in particular as it relates to troop deployment. We have recently declared commitments, our shared commitment to the importance of international norms and rules. You and I discussed today many important topics, in particular as it relates to the eastern flank. And we talked specifically about what we care deeply about in terms of our commitment, the United States commitment to Article 5. I've said it many times, I will say it again. The United States commitment to Article 5 is ironclad.
Ironclad.
The United States is prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory. The United States takes seriously that an attack against one is an attack against all.
And this come, right in the middle of all these, how do you say that? Exclamations. About the, oh my God, I even forgot. I'm sorry. And I was already like 20 years old. This is, the Iron Curtain. The Iron Curtain. She's trying to be Thatcher, the Iron Lady, whatever they used to call it, lady, whatever. Reagan, I think I heard that one. It was like, where I heard this ironclad. I think it was Reagan. Just like iron. And iron not as an irony. This is iron as in, crushing. That's what it's like. I feel like she's scary as hell, She's really scary.
We are here today to restate that commitment, but also to do what we must do to reinforce our support of Poland and our allies through the EU and NATO alliance, in particular as it relates to troop deployment.
Well, why she flew there right away? Because I think like yesterday. I think it was yesterday that Poland say, hey, we're backing down. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. Which just sounded to me when I read that tweet. It was like, just like they are looking at all the implications. They got all their teams. I'm talking about all the diplomatic body of thinkers and stuff. They got all their team of the ones that bellicosity, whatever, what's it called, the war experts. They got political, whatever, everything. And then and now it's like, because I heard Germany too. I heard like others, like as if like they're hiring people, as to say, like I noticed, it's like, why all these experts are coming out with the logistics. Of course the logistics don't add up. Just like when we ended when we got out of Yemen. Yeah, we was yamming and Yemen. And it was the man. Got no planes. We got like whatever. And, I mean, it was like really, really. I mean, you go like, that's what you say. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Little joy. It's just. And this is somebody who's been in politics. This is why I don't want to, buy into that cloning shit. But it's like, no, it's like what, like 60 years, I don't know, I mean 50 years in politics. And I'm not saying like, like city council, whatever. No, he's been in important, white politics for decades. Last Dixiecrat, that's what his name, right? Um, so I was like little Joey and like acting as if like he was born yesterday. Is that a coincidence? Why is he acting like that? It just makes no sense. I mean, like, who the fuck? I'm sorry, I don't want to curse. Mistaken. Iran with Russia. Was it Russia? I don't even know. It's like I just so bizarre. I mean, I mean, like Iran and Iraq. Okay, maybe. Like he will never get the hearts of the Iranians. And you go like, this is good, but this is good, but no, I don't judge, but because of that, it's like people, like my boyfriend, whatever. He told me something as if like the whole point of eating, hot peppers, like, yeah, I love, we call it like chile de árbol, delicious. That's something that my father, passed on to us, and we cannot have a meal without it, So, but it's just like, having like 5, 6, 10 at the same time, because he thought that was the whole purpose of going out of your mind and going. You go actually on a trip. You go on a trip. They put you on a trip, and sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what you're gonna get. I have had the regular looking chile. You bite it and you go like, you stay in the chair like this. You go. You cannot even move. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's like a mushroom, right? Not really.
We have
Not like a
recently
mushroom.
deployed an
I'm
additional
exaggerating.
4,700 American troops to Poland. That's on top of the years of rotation of about 5,000 American troops in Poland. We are pleased to have announced this week that we have directed 2 Patriot missile defense systems to Poland, and today I can announce that we have delivered those Patriot systems to Poland.
Yeah, I saw this video this morning on YouTube about the javelins, whatever you call them, javelins. It was expired. So now we got internet, we got shit. It's like all you gotta do is just put over there. So it's just like see, it's like junk. But you know, because of the hype, you know, when I was in like in my teens, we used to import everything from the we thought it was coming from the United States until we learned how to read, and then we saw that shit is from China. So people dying for, you know, fayuca. Hell no.
We do this as a reminder and as a demonstration of our commitment to the security
Biden, you need
of
a
our
reminder
allies
for
and our
everything.
commitment in particular to Poland
Watch your mouth.
at this moment in time.
Yeah, reminder.
As it relates to the people of Ukraine, they have suffered immensely. When we talk about humanitarian aid, it is because, yes, the assistance is necessary, but what compels us also is the moral outrage that all civilized nations feel when we look.
Oh, I need to apologize. I forgot. They got Juneteenth. It's post-racial now.
Look at what is happening to innocent men, women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers, who are fleeing everything they've known. Our outrage, which compels not only our security assistance, but our humanitarian assistance, is rooted in the fact that also we support the people of Ukraine who have shown extraordinary courage and skill.
That's the truth.
And their willingness and, yes, ability to fight against Putin's war and Russia's aggression.
Okay, so we basically cornered them. You know, we started sneaking around operations here all around the Federation. I mean, that's bullying, that's harassment to go to somebody's, you know, and I know what I'm talking about because how many troops we got at the border right now? They took some out from Trump, but we still got troops at the border. That shit don't feel good, I'm telling you, at all. At all. Nobody's gonna enjoy that shit. Nobody. Especially somebody with a track record, you know, that we had. Coup after coup after coup after. You know, I mean, as I started, you know, this is like, you know, they done Wall Street, fraud, just to make billions and billions and more billions, you know, in order to perpetuate these mutation, genetic mutation. Somebody gotta let them know that mutations are not supposed to be eternal. I didn't say that. God said that. Nature said that. Logic said that. Correction, it's natural. It is natural. There's an African proverb, that you can throw a branch at the river, but it will never become a fish. It will never become a fish. So that's just what it is. And now with the super AI and asking them questions, how are we gonna solve this problem? How it's like, that's how we ditch silicon, from as in Silicon Alley, as in Silicon Valley, Silicon Alley. Um, yeah, it's not called Silicon Alley. Now they used, instead of silicone, they use something else. Now it's not BTUs, now it's GTUs. These are graphics. So they used to take a lot of memory, your hard drive and your external drive, flash drive, whatever, hard and whatever it's called. That used to. Now you can look at the store, you can be like, this little thing like this, 2-3 terabytes for $100. $100 price range. So it's just scary. We don't have access to that. It's like they have a problem, whatever, what's the solution? And yeah, there's you feel great to come up with solutions and stuff, how to, regulate traffic in any social media, any website, anything, just how to, that's the only way they feel, calm down a little bit. But they've lost control of a lot of stuff lately. A lot of unpredictables. They used to be like, and I was like, yes, master, we're right here. And now it's like, the ones that they are across the pond, they are learning how to use computers and all that shit finally. Because they still are, they're not up to speed. They're too old. They're too old in all ways because, they've been, what's it called, inner, breeding each other. So, but they seem to be getting up to speed. They seem to be getting up, so unfortunately, but I don't know if they're gonna get up to speed. But if they get up to speed, then they're gonna say the mulattoes, in the United States, they're gonna say, hey, this is our conquest. And the biracial said, no, we don't. We're independence. This independence, the independence is not for us. It's for them. It is for them. And every time they join any cause, it's because it helped them regain control of the land again and again and again. That's what you say, like Soros is like work for that family that, they like the old way when, just, feudalism and stuff, simple stuff. It was royalty. There was no elections, not that, crazy stuff, modern stuff. And I would call elections and, polling and, actually getting feedback, what they call it, interactive democracy. symmetric democracy, you can call it, it's just common sense. I would say just common sense, right? If we are all, as the people, paying taxes, and people say, I don't pay taxes. Yes, you pay taxes. Look at your Social Security. It's in Wall Street. It's in whatever, in those things. That's why we got the number. Like a friend used to say, I was I was in jail. I got a cell number. I got a cell number. And I got the number, whatever, the two, and say he got out of jail, and then he got a cell number. He said cell number. Cell number is like, it looked to me as, they name him like that. I don't know. Of course, I don't have proof, but for magic purpose, for like practical to, at the same time it's a game of words, and at the same time it's a metaphor, and at the same time, like this according to what they was able to get from Kemet.
So today we are also announcing, in pursuit of what must happen, which is to provide humanitarian assistance, that we will give another $50 billion, the United States will, through the UN's World Food Program, to assist with humanitarian aid. The president and I also talked about the fact that, as he mentioned,
So how much money is that? Wow. We haven't got one single check. I'm not gonna be like that, but we all know, I mean, it's plain to see. Trump gave out 2 checks. I'm just saying, it's like, it's not a good excuse to choose a president or anything. That's not a good excuse. But at least you gotta put up with stuff. I feel like that's the minimum. That is the minimum. I did not even believe that Trump was gonna give out checks. That's how misinformed I was from watching, I mean, living in New York City. You live in New York City, and even when you put whatever on, like I say, I'm on Twitter, whatever, that's what I read. That's where I read. That's where I get my information. So they still curate everything. Everything is curated. And I don't know, something tell me inside of me that that's because, I get assigned a number. We all get assigned a number. As that German guy said, you'll be very happy. We'll be very happy. That's what he said. So I feel like they assign us a number. And that number, like A, B, 36, X, 29, A, whatever, it's like, we're a type of people that I think they keep polishing. They keep polishing. They keep calibrating. They're the type of people who, like, I don't know, maybe we're on welfare, we, or retired. That's all that. They give us and the computer for the software. That's how they see us. Because I feel like this is what come to mind. I don't know if it's in my dream or whatever, but this is how I visualize it. I mean, not because I visualize it. This is what come to mind. Like I say, I feel like I'm not doing it. I just feel like when I'm on social media, I feel like it's just the things that happen every session. I think that's just deduction. So it's change. This is changing, different numbers, different category. I said trial and error. Like I say, she's personality number, like I say, 36B, whatever, whatever, then they next month I will be a different number because to be more accurate representation of my personality. So automatically, this super artificial intelligence, they process like, oh, she's online, whatever, blah blah blah. This is what she do, what time she do it, what kind of accounts she like, and that's also, that was the decisive thing to elect Eric Adams as the mayor of New York City. He know about data. I didn't know that. He know about computers, data, whatever. So, and he believe in data, which is big data. So that's the other crazy thing. It's not like, I think De Blasio is not, but he was keep buying services from, the G. He was buying services, and I'm like, so they got all my information. Oh yes, because we hired the program. We buy their programs and whatever, so they know everything we do.
Poland has taken in just a very short period of time in excess of 1.5 million refugees in from Ukraine. And that has put an extraordinary burden on Poland and the people of Poland. And so we will continue with the support that we can give you, Mr. President, in terms of the work that you and the people of Poland have been doing to bear this burden, but in a way that
How
really
much
has
money
been
we're
with
gonna
such
pay
grace
them?
and such generosity. We also are pleased to have shared with the President what our United States Congress has done, which is there is a commitment now of $13.6 billion in humanitarian and security assistance that will be then distributed and shared with Ukraine and the people of this region in Europe. All again, understanding that this moment in time requires both a humanitarian response as well as security assistance. And today, I'm also pleased to say that we are in ongoing discussions with Poland and our allies about the effectiveness of sanctions thus far and going forward.
Yeah, talk about the humanitarian aid in Libya. I said we took all their gold, all their treasury, everything. Just look it up. Everybody, UN, everybody.
As we have announced in the United States, we have, through the United States Department of Justice, started a task force to do what is required and necessary and appropriate in terms of investigations as it relates to any criminal activities and behaviors on behalf of institutions and individuals, including oligarchs.
This is already from, preconceived notions against Russia, in spite of all the evidence that they are being, compared to what we used to, what we used to with all Obama, whatever, Vietnam. This is like, I think, one of the most gentle wars. I mean, you literally see them like using all these strategies, not to hurt civilians, not to, minimize shit. And but the media, the corporate media is like, they're putting videos from wherever they can get them. They put them wherever they can get them. That's why President Putin had to shut down Western media, because, they're like, they keep sending everybody, they keep sending even officials, suggesting, all this news coming in. Because what they wanted was the citizens from the Federation to repudiate the president. Can you imagine? I mean, you go like shit, like us. like us. We've been like, all Syria, bombing Syria, whatever, like, well, in cahoots with the other ones and whatnot. And that, you just feel really awful, especially for the Federation, which them, if we're gonna be comparing it like an analogy like carbon print, let's just say the carbon print of Russia is extremely small compared to the United States. When it comes to just being messy and just like we saw, with the WikiLeaks, we saw all the videos how they just like, oh, they're running like little roaches. They're running, boom, boom, boom. It looked just like a video game. And this is like even guys saying like, it's like, shit, I forget it's not a video game sometimes while I'm up there. And then Obama proceeded to unleash drones without regulations. Be using in, Eastern Africa, in East Africa, just drones. Ilhan Omar, quiet as a mouse. Then she care about this, she care about that. She refused to condemn because bread, that's how easily we are sold. We're sold out. Sad.
We talked, the president and I, about the effectiveness of the sanctions we've seen thus far in terms of the courage and the bold that have been taken through the NATO alliance to do what is necessary to send a clear signal that there will be, as we promised, severe cost and consequence for Russia's aggression, to the point that we have now seen a free fall of the ruble, to the point that we have now seen Russia's.
And then you gotta say it for real. You gotta go and I mean, to me it looked like we came, we saw, and he died. You see the cackling, hyena. How is this different?
Rated as junk, and what we know to be real economic consequence to Russia because of Putin's war. As you know, the President of the United States also made the decision to do what was necessary in terms of the purchase of Russian oil in the United States. Again, we will continue to focus on this issue, keeping in mind that this is a moment that requires severe and swift consequence for Russia's aggression against Ukraine.
Doesn't it sound like the Holy Inquisition? We gotta get the devil out of it. Don't it sound like slavery too? Chattel slavery right here in the United States of America. We gotta, convert us. That's how they convert us to this thing, whatever it is. They call it religion.
That we admire their courage and that we are aligned in our support of their sovereignty and territorial integrity. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, this is not where the this is Prince Amir. It's on. It's broadcasting.
They're not refining our oil. We have about 15% stake in the oil, which is ridiculous, by the way. I mean, people from economic backgrounds will argue that, those who went and did the exploration, trying to find out about it, they spend a lot of money,
They get all the money.
That's crazy. But anyway, be that as it may, even about 15%, we cannot refine. We're not refining oil.
15.
The Tema Oil Refinery, or what we in Ghana call TOR, TOR, is being mismanaged, government after government, and this is part of the problem in Africa. We have all these resources in the raw form. Thank God, I don't know what's happening in Nigeria right now, but I'm going to go to Nigeria because Dangote Aliko, the richest man in Africa,
But it's not stigmatized. It's not stigmatized. That's what we realized in Mexico. We are 3 years, in power, supposed to in power. We ain't got no power. We just like supposedly we won the elections 3 years ago. And the mind is still like, I don't know, people that like not even typified. Corruption was not even in the Constitution. Obviously non-stigmatized. It was like, oh yeah, he flew again with like, $200 million. And like, oh well, that's what it was before. And now, I mean, I feel like we are only still, you know, um, just with the brakes. We're just putting the brakes right now. Yes, yes, slow down a lot, this monster. Especially the last 30 years. The neoliberalism is just like, shoot, they even took more than the Spaniards in 300 years. Because now they have industrialization, they got this, they got that. So now they can wipe you out like this. Let's see what else he say. I don't know. He said the title.
materials they have. Maybe we should partner with other people who are willing to do that. Our condition should be that.
So in a way, they have a good chance they have to on the continent. And what's so crazy, if every ethnic group is even trying are really studying what's going on in Russia. Like it's like,
Sure.
like with the sanctions, the leadership, and then the policies and everything. We're there, like so.
We don't have not a single outlet that is explaining to us. Communist countries is like, oh, this is exactly what you need to know to protect yourselves to stay sovereign.
Studying it every day. Like I feel sympathy in a way because human wise, but besides that, hell no. Especially since how they treat my people in Ukraine. So I'm just looking at what's how far they want to go.
But you just heard it. You just heard it again and again and again. We are not gonna get nothing from Russia. Ever, supposedly. So we gotta replenish, we gotta substitute. And we don't even got with whom. I mean, we got somebody. That shit is terrifying. They're looking at our brothers and sisters in Venezuela, like it's breakfast. Just like breakfast. They're looking, like, because they got everything we want. Gas, oil, you name it. So I don't think the war, it's going to be like right there, like where they leading us right now. I don't know where the real war is going to be, but that's what I always looked, and I think somebody, even like a professional, say one time, that the U.S. not going to touch natural resources. They want everybody else, but ours right here in the United States is like they're untouchable, unless it's like fracking or stuff like that. We can f everything up because that's what it do. Well, we know that.
If we would try, we would stand up against the nation powers, and we're in that same position. So my unlike the foolish leader in Ukraine, if I was one of the rulers or leaders in the continent, I will prepare now to make sure this will be prevented at all costs. There's no telling what they'll do to a black nation. The people who don't look like them, they probably don't like them. They probably can't stand it.
Oh man, we're not welcome anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
But you wouldn't even know that. you wouldn't even know. That's places that I don't even go. Or African brothers and sisters, they just like, I mean, the diasporic, they everywhere, everywhere, like nothing. You go like, okay.
Well, look what they get to Gaddafi. Look what they get to Gaddafi. You don't that matter that hard. Just watch that video of Gaddafi of him being on Rick with a knife.
But just to add to what you're saying, Black Lion. For some of us
That's
who
who we
study
are.
geopolitics, having a
NATO.
bi or multipolar
NATO.
world is much better for Africa.
That's what everybody was saying. This is the head of NATO. This is who controlled NATO, talking like, Kamala. Because that's what they say. Somebody was saying, forget about that she's whatever, Kamala. You got to see her like with the speech as in the head of NATO, who control NATO.
It keeps everything in check.
And here.
No like power with claim ultimate superiority, and therefore what it means is that no particular power can just go all out and bully everybody else and do what they want in the world. So a multipolar world, by that I mean a world where we have many powerful countries is the way to go. And I think that favors Africa in terms of
Allegedly. That's what everybody
Africa
said.
from attacks, like for instance,
I'm
what happened to
like,
Gaddafi, that totally ruined Libya to this day.
if we cannot deal with one affluent, because that's their disease, right? They suffer from affluence.
Hey, man.
Okay, yeah, you know what, and this is, you guys are making a great point. What can Apple learn with this whole Ukraine-Russia crisis? Number one ally is not going to fit all, like one size doesn't fit all. These days I'm really relying on the United States for support and backup. No, it has to be equal on all fronts. Now what you're seeing in East Africa, for example, you're seeing countries like Ethiopia who do have allies with Turkey, Emirates, Qatar, because they know, especially with Sleepy Joe, how he really went hard. There's been 4 sanctions this year on 4 countries, and what do they all have in common? Well, they're all in Africa: Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia. I think he was picking, he had a history with Somalia. He would call the ambassador. But now he's just taking sanctions off of other countries like Iran, Venezuela, and they need oil. Now, if you look at the countries that they go to, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, and
Interesting. I didn't know there was a pattern. I guess that
to get education, you're pretty much getting immigrants in Africa are.
I guess there was a method to their madness, right?
A place of knowledge, of ancient knowledge, of ancient civilizations. This is why we always look down upon, because like a lot of people use that as like Africa's so good, so positive, and the media says, why they want to Europe and America to get education? That's the conversation. That's one of the psychological issues that the people in the country do not want to admit. Because sometimes when I see my father and my actions here, I also want to ask them, and they don't want to answer. What the hell do you think that's over? You can't do your continent. You guys.
That's not about that. Come on, that's how. Like bomb, they're like a nuclear bomb. They come back from the whitewashing. That's what they come back for. I see in my country. They come back from all these fancy, schmancy, whatevers. And for what? They don't even want to talk to nobody no more in their circle. They just want to, they're special now because they went to such and such.
Our 54-country continent. If Nigeria's not doing well, go to Ghana. If Ghana doesn't go well, go to Tanzania. You guys can go anywhere on that continent for education and more. But if one country's not doing well or anything bad, you all may go flee to Europe and America in a heartbeat. You don't get your own continent a chance. They treat it like it's a country itself.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest issues. And I'm glad that people got told they got the nigga wake up call, because this got to stop. If there's a country your issue, okay, fix it. Or go to another African country. This obsession with this European, like this European divinity, the false illusion of it. That's what's killing us. And I have to say, what's going to kill black people is 2 things: white racism and black ignorance.
Yeah, you see how many flags, one of those yellow flags they got on in Africa? Well, that's what they say, the profiles say that's where they are. I don't know if it's true.
African ignorance. That's
Well,
what kills us even more, and that needs to stop. And that's what the a lot, especially like I can tell, I know my father does not want to admit that it was like when he said, because I was like, if he's from Nigeria, why is he going to Ghana from now? Uganda, Kenya, people that look like you probably be even more safer area. She told me he'll never answer that question. We have too much self-hate, especially on the continent, to realize and too much white worship to realize our own people.
Most of my friendships I had with African Americans was like, hanging out with whom? I don't hang out with whom, they say that their own people. They don't want to hang out.
Black Lion, one second. Let's get Josh on. We'll take it back to Winnie. Go ahead, Josh. Unmute yourself. Josh, unmute yourself.
And I'm saying that's just as a personal experience. That's just a personal testimony that I had. Like, no, there's too much of that. I always had like, what's called troublemakers. That was one used to call.
So, Black Lion, what do you live on now? You good?
Good.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you know what, and you guys are making a great point. What can Africa learn with this whole Ukraine-Russia crisis? Number one ally is not going to fit all, like one size doesn't fit all. These days of really relying on the United States for support and backup. No, it has to be equal on all fronts. Now, what you're seeing in East Africa, for example, you're seeing countries like Ethiopia who do have allies with Turkey, the Emirates, Qatar, because they know, especially with Sleepy Joe, how he's really went hard. There's been 4 sanctions this year on 4 countries. And what do they all have in common? Well, they're all in Africa: Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia. I think he had a history fit with Somalia. He recalled the ambassador. But now he's just taking sanctions off of other countries like Iran, Venezuela, and they need oil. Now, if you look at the countries that they go to, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Angola, they're going to say, hey guys, we're going to need some oil. We're in a time of crisis. But what Africa couldn't do, and I don't know if we could do that, because some of those leaders in those oil countries they cool it up. They say, okay, we'll sell you oil, but here's the thing. You guys, you got a problem in America. You have anti-black racism. You got police brutality. We want to know if we're going to sell you our oil, because now you need us, you need to fix your problem over there. And it's funny, United Arab Emirates and United States was really almost slamming South Africa to take a side in this conflict. Well, black people abroad do not need to take a side, but wait and see. Because when it comes to Yemen, when it comes to terrorism is going on in Mali, in Chad, Burkina Faso, I don't see a global concerted effort helping in those Sahel regions. Because not only are they facing Islamic extremism, you got drought, you got famine, and stuff like that. So I think black people now are locking the horns in together and say, you know what, we're going to look out for home. Because the young people, some of these old leaders in Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, they're going to always sell out. But I think now you need to realize not one ally is going to fit all. Because nobody's trusting the United States anymore. I mean, would you? I think Putin said it best.
Okay. Sorry, I just have to say that I saw Dr. Ifatunde, the same thing, like we don't have any, whatever. I don't know how they said that in English. I have a lot of sayings, We say it in Mexico, we say we don't get a can. We don't get a can. Sorry. It sounds funny when I translate it in English. I don't know, for some reason. It's we don't have a candle in this funeral. I don't know. I'm sure there's the same version, just different way, everywhere. Because I mean, there's only one civilization, which is the African civilization. That's how we learn how to be, how to think, how to eat, how to everything. So sooner or later, it's just like the river is gonna go back to the original, where it's supposed to be. Um, so anyway, let's finish. It seems like this is good info.
How he's really
For
went
right
hard.
now.
There's been 4 sanctions this year on 4 countries. And what do they all have in common? Well, they're all in Africa: Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia. I think he had a hissy fit with Somalia. He recalled the ambassador. But now he's taking sanctions off of other countries like Iran, Venezuela. They need oil. Now,
That's what I was gonna say. That should scare me a lot. It's just like, I know I am, like Venezuela feel. Let's say, I'm an admirer of the Venezuelan people. I've seen them, how they are in these past 3.5 years. And I have learned, I want to think I learned a lot. At least that's what I like to believe. And they're like 20 something years ahead of us. They've been resisting for almost 25 years. They're still on top. They're still on top of the game. I mean, we talk about Vietnam. We talk about, a lot of, of course, the uncomparable, the Maroons all over the Americas, right? The Anahuac and the Avianahuac, because that's the entire continent, right? And but they got, I didn't even know about the pearls. I didn't know that Margarita, that's another word for pearl. And oh my God, they put him through hell to get pearls, because they used to have pearls. Look it up, Venezuelan pearls. Slavery, Venezuela, pearls. They used to have, the whole spiritual houses, everything covered in pearls and stuff and gold, and these, they went crazy. It's like they suffer a lot. Because they're Africans. So it's like it's rare. That's why I say, like the Maroons, they've never been enslaved. That's not to say they still have not been traumatized by, resisting day and night, 24/7, living in the middle of the swamp, living in, just really challenging places for us. But I think the frontal lobe is still developed. So they still have communication with nature, Mother Nature, the, Toltecayotl in the Anahuac was the Toltecayotl. That was a lot of the code, how, like Dr. Infundishi, someone, born in Tanzania, and being able to read himself the Mother Nature. And he says, it's like we gotta master. Everybody, we gotta master everything. The animal realm, mineral realm, like the sea, whatever, the fish realm, whatever. All of them, and that's what we are. You go to my home place, whatever, the Anahuac, Mexico, today called Mexico, and you find out what you got, the shamanism. what called shamanism, right? Turning into an animal. People see them turn into an animal and go, and be other places. And that's just, like the voodoo that people talk about zombies and shit. Like they think that's what voodoo is about. And I go like, wow. And it's frustrating because, this defamation, assassination of character, and what? It's as if we're mute. To put a spell on us and we cannot dare to say, you're lying. I got the facts. I got the proof. I got, everything. Like Dr. Laila Africa used to say, they got it, they stole it. That's it. You don't complicate your life.
If you look at the countries they're going to go to, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Angola, they're going to say, hey guys, oil. So yeah, we're in a time of crisis. But what Africa could do, and I don't know if we could do that, because some of those leaders in those oil countries they cool it up. They say, okay, well, we'll sell you oil, but here's the thing: you guys do got a
Tune it
problem
up.
in America. You have anti-black
It's a
racism.
pandemic.
You got
That's
police
a
brutality.
pandemic.
We want to know if we're going to sell you our
Feminist.
oil.
That's what the
Now you
feminists
need
gonna
us. You need
Tune
to
it
fix
up.
your problem over there. And it's funny, United Arab Emirates and United States was really almost slamming South Africa to take a side in this conflict. Well, black people abroad do not need to take a side, but wait and see. Because when it comes to Yemen, when it comes to
Yeah, you don't need to take a side, huh? You don't need to take a side. If you think the Chinese, you think the Russians, you think the Ottomans, because the Ottoman Empire is up and running. If you think all these other crackers are like horrendous, well, wait till they don't have to answer to Russia. Just wait till that. Wait till they don't have, that right now the only thing that have helped us is because they're afraid of their hypersonic directable nuclear missiles. It's a waste of money because they could just make a regular. They don't need to be nuclear. That's it. It's like we got like 100 plants just east of Mississippi. East of Mississippi. The media, nobody's talking about that. How are we protecting those plants? We need fertilizer. I know it's like I'm being facetious, but like why we call them plants when they're the opposite of a plant? That's how shocked I am. I'm always walking around like, why we allow this BS? Some days I just go like, so easy right now on social media. That's not right. This is little by little. That's that little chippy, the little I think it go a long way. But don't say that, you know. I mean, I know what Dr. Umar. I think I know what he's talking about, but I think obviously I don't know. But come on, come on. Imagine if like and whom. I mean, we all, like they said, we all POC, and you know what that means. POC. It means that we're not psychos. There are no psychopaths. You need psychopaths to fight psychopaths. This is why, multipolarity like that, it's just like, I agree, but if if we was not able to deal with one, now we're going to deal with like 100. We'll see. I think that's the only way to find out. See, they're all going to behave, right? They're all going to behave, and there's not going to be like accidents, like the ones that we're having in Mexico every day, accidents against our, building new infrastructure. By the way, we're about to open a whole new airport in Mexico City. You can look them up as AIFA, Aeropuerto Internacional Felipe Ángeles, AIFA. You see, that's gonna be nice. It's not gonna be like, oh my god, like gold toilets or whatever, but it's gonna be really functional and just, you want to go to Mexico City for a week and that's it. Affordable, great, culture galore everywhere. But I don't know, you're United Slaves. You don't want to leave.
The terrorism is going on in Mali and Chad, Burkina Faso. I don't see a global concerted effort
Terrorism.
helping in those Sahel regions. Because not only are they facing Islamic extremism, you got drought, you got famine, and stuff like that. So I think black people now are locking the horns in together and say, you know what, we're going to look out for our own. Because the young people, some of these old leaders in Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, they're going to always sell out. But I think now you need to realize not one ally is going to fit all. Because a lot of the truth, nobody's trusting the United States anymore. I mean, would you? I mean, I think Putin said it best. They ruined Libya, which we know. But now, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to leverage it? You got the oil, you got the power, like Ghana, Angola. Okay, we'll sell you oil, but you know what? You got a little issue over there. Black people are getting turned up over there because they're tired of you trying to put them in the permanent underclass. So I think now is a big wake up call. But you're right. When we had, or Scott, I think Scott or Black Lion said, when the Europeans come after resources, they want to permanently remain in Africa because didn't they try to assassinate some French soldiers? Didn't they get caught in the Central African Republic trying to assassinate the president? I thought I heard something.
Yeah, there's pretty much a civil war going on between the president and terrorists that are backed by France. The president, he had Russia mercenaries to help him. That's why you saw a lot of protests supporting Putin in Central African Republic. Like if you look on some website or like African newspapers, they show people supporting Putin because Putin is helping these African countries like take out France with their military mercenaries, and that's why you see a lot of like anti-Russia sentiment coming in Africa, or like they're trying to put on Africa because Russia is helping them logistically to kick out France. The Central Republic of Africa that was a big example of that.
Yeah, you're right. And one thing about it, yeah, like Diamond, you said a couple weeks ago, hey, why not? Okay, Russians, if you can help us solve the problem so we can get our military together. But, they do have to watch Russians. I think the Wagner group is a lot of neo-Nazis. I think they were in Syria and Aleppo, and when Putin was out, they shelled the shit out of it. So now they're in Burkina Faso. I believe they're invited in. They were in Libya, so they have a good record of taking out the terrorists, but not a good record of leaving place. I know there's a lot of neo-Nazis, but again, like anything, when you invite people into your house, you got to make sure from the carpet to the stove to the toilet, you got to make sure they don't leave shit behind. And this is the problem a lot of countries in Africa. But one thing I did learn about Ethiopia when they got
Well, sorry to cut it off, but if anybody I've seen that consistent, that is congruent with the anti-fascist agenda, it had been Russia. I have not seen. I'm gonna continue looking because now a lot of stuff, gotta, of course, do fact checking to see, because anybody can say, I mean, the West, they always have, come on, every year they put on Twitter, they put like, oh, we won, it's like it's our victory day. We was the one who won the World War II, which is a total lie. We did not win the so-called, it used to be like White World War II. It's a White World War II, and we're right now in the White World War III. Oh my God, it's so difficult to pronounce this language. And I mean, that's just to say, I mean, if anybody was to ask me, I'd say like, yes, are we in White World War III? I say yes. I say yeah. That's what we're doing. I tweeted this morning. Is Are we looking at Gaddafi 2.0? You know, is this Muammar Gaddafi 2.0? Is this Libya 2.0? Because it looked like that. Everybody voting. I'm glad. I think we did not vote. I checked. I think it was like we did not vote against Putin, against Russia. I say that's, they go hand in hand, unless, he already, because it seemed like he had good intelligence. He had, talking about Mr. Putin, I think he got good intelligence and good, I mean, when you've been surviving for decades, that's all you know. His life has been survival, straight up survival. Not like us, quote unquote Americans, because that's how delusional we are. Even when the great Malcolm X told us, straight in our face, say, you're not American. We are victims of that Americanism, whatever that is, that everybody want to have it. Again, it always managed to stay in fashion, apparently. Apparently so. So the ratings keep, and there's a lot of people they're showing, like they're buying views. They buy the views. They buy the views. They buy the views. They buy the views. There you go. Give me 500,000 views. That's it. Immediately. Trending, suggesting your next, and even shit that play on its own sometimes. I don't know. Well, of course, I cannot prove that. I'm like, but they remove these things when I don't want shit to be playing one after another, one after another. It's like, I don't know. You don't tell me what to watch. So it's like, that's the thing with Twitter. It's suggesting tweets, suggesting accounts, suggesting this, suggesting that. Why? Because the more activity, the more, and that's literally what they're doing. Hey, you're a cash cow, and you need to chop. We are not there where we want to be. We got to be like, you got to say, like when I was working fast food, right? You got to say, supersize me. You want to supersize? It's only $1.26. Some bullshit like that, You supersize everything. You'll be like a pig, And oh, you want a side of sauce? You want a side of biscuits? You can side of like whatever, like nickel and dime you. I was trained to do that everywhere I went. Fine dining, it's like that was it. Oh, you want margarita? You want, this fancy as brand name. You want this fancy name, like, you wanted like the one that was aged for like 10 years or whatever, which I mean, like, I don't even know nothing about it. In my times, we wasn't doing so much that whatever tree. Try not to get in trouble. That's my code word. They call it a tree. The tree as in tree, not as in our great brothers, who give us everything every day. So, what's that called? The faggot tree. Three. No. That's anyway. Oh my god, I got lost. I was gonna be like Kamala. I had a moment.
Had those sanctions put on them, and there was a big bias from the West on how they portrayed them in the media fighting TPLF. The first thing they did was cancel CNN, all these TV broadcasts, and they told them, at the African Union, I think I'll be honest, it's time for black media or African media to take root and ignore the rest of the world. So yeah, I mean, you do have to watch out, lock your horns, and give them that treatment, because what's going on in Ukraine is bad, but as a global black issue, when you walk in a room in front of all group of people, one thing they look at is, oh, who's this? Who the hell is this? So yeah, like you said, black first, but also not everybody's gonna be on board, unfortunately, but find a few and then multiply like 300. So that's all I got to say. But yeah, I think this is a good time for Africa, 2020 and beyond. COVID kind of woke everybody up, but yeah, Darn, do your thing. That Sierra Leone, that beach is beautiful. Tokyo Beach, you know.
Yeah, rule number 2. Appreciate it, brother. Go ahead, Owini.
Yeah, so the brother just came on for that as well, but to tackle the issue of why Africans are going abroad for education, I wouldn't say like Africa has millions of graduates coming out of universities every year, right? I mean, if you look at the undergraduate level, most Africans get their education here. They do. I'm getting my master's degree here, which I'm almost done with, in Ghana, and it's cool. I would say that some people some people can afford to go abroad for, to get a, degree and so on. It's cool. I mean, it depends on what the perspective is. I'll give you an example. For instance, China, when they wanted to emerge as a world power, they did send a lot of their graduates, to go study abroad and then come back. So that's where maybe the problem is with Africans going abroad to study is a lot of Africans, you go to America, for instance, there's lots of Canadian and, even more Nigerian doctors, right? And they live there and they don't, come back to do much on the continent. That's a fact, right?
Well, I remember, when the Federation was still up and running a little bit, and, there was like, just local media everywhere. There was the Olympics. They had, I think, Romania. I think Romania had some Becky Becky, over there is, it's more accurate to say, mulata, a mulatto, gymnast, whatever you say that. So she got 10, 10, 10. And that was the first time, I think. That's what they say. Nobody had gotten 10, 10, 10, whatever, all the categories, every category, and the bars and the whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I don't even know how I know this. I don't know if I heard it in the house. I don't know if I saw it on television, but they're telling us about life and communist countries and stuff. And I'm like, but, I mean, this is a side note. When I watched the Trump documentary, it was plain to see, like, oh, Ivanka, she got a communist education. She even went to college over there and everything, university. So it's like, she was naturally competitive. And I say naturally because, from grade school. From grade school, you know, they have the law, you know, unwritten law probably, which is to maximize the preparation, the whatever, because they've seen what they don't. Somebody was talking about it's a I'm gonna use their own words. This problematic feminist journalist, anyway, was talking about the oh my god, I'm forgetting that word. The situation in Ukraine with the situation when you know siege. I think Moscow. Is it Moscow? It was under siege for more than 2 years, and that caused famine and stuff. You know, and they say even cannibalism. And I don't know how many millions died from, you know, the feudal. I mean, I'm just talking about feudalism, and I'm describing to you. You know, I mean, you can look it up. You can look it up. That's a recreation, natural recreation. It's not because there was like, oh, they gotta go and look at the book. That's natural to them. Natural. I mean, like it's to say, you know, oh, he got something that I want, and then the psychosis starts saying, you know, I'm at risk if I don't have that. They start justifying. Which are very mechanical. I tweeted about it's like we're gonna have to use our own biracials to translate whatever. Hopefully they don't sell out. And that's what I just wanted to make the note. I'm glad that I'm remembering all this because I remember going back to the tales that I know of communist countries. It was like you had to have trials and tribulations. You know, they tested you. They tested you. I remember this, you know, this Romanian lady. She's scared. She's scared to talk shit against those who made her a 10. 10, 10, 10. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not into like those things, to tell you the truth. My older sister, she's 2 years older than me. She got impressed by, and I think that's how probably heard a conversation about communist Romania and how it's like. For some reason, I think they were talking about, I don't think she got the protocol. She did not go through the whole system. It was just her talent and the fact that her biological clock and everything was ticking, that they made an exception. And those are the ones who they get brainwashed with Western BS, or they're just very naive and they're being set up. They're being set up. Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go. We gotta go to this place because you gotta sign these papers, whatever. And boom, it's you like the United States consulate. And this bitch is so dumb. We go like, okay, whatever. She don't even know where she's at. Yes, I'll sign right here. I'm requesting asylum. Right, asylum. What is asylum? Go like, surprise! Now you're an American. You're an American. Oh, what the f is that? Well, you're gonna get milkshakes and hot dogs. Shit like that. Okay. But you're gonna get to be on television. You're gonna be parade like a monkey everywhere. As a survivor. As a survivor of communism. Not making it up. Not making it up. I want to find more videos that spell it out. Because sometimes I think, am I gonna be watching that stuff in my lifetime? I mean, there is a lot of progress. Don't get me wrong. I mean, even the gay zone, whatever. Sorry, the gray zone. Um, I just hate queer culture so much. I mean, I just feel like it just don't make any sense. I'm a progressive. I mean, you can probably, I mean, count me as one of the most progressive. I mean, within our own, within our own. I mean, progressing to, like Sankofa, Mother Africa, go back and get it. That's it. That's progress. Going back, living in Toltecayotl, that's a lot of progress. Especially asking for forgiveness to Pachamama. Oh my God, why I keep forgetting her name? In Nahuatl, I mean, oh no. I have half of the name, our mother. Gotta ask forgiveness and reparations and all that. And we're gonna be united again. We're never gonna be separated from nature, like today that people think like, oh, I wanna go and be in nature for the whole weekend. Like, okay, so we are nature, it's like kind of I think what we want to say is like, this concrete hell is just so hard. We feel so disconnected. I think, this is just, I mean, like, more like I say, resonate with me, all the peoples who just, especially women, go dig in the soil, and, pottery, whatever, just try to dig and get for a while, to go back to the frequency of Mother Earth, because that's chaotic. That is chaotic. That's why you see the feminist protest yesterday. That was like crazy. It's like we had to give them flowers in Mexico City, like to calm down a little bit, because it's just like, I don't know, the shit they're smoking and snoring. I don't know. They're like violent as hell, violent terrorists. But yesterday it was a little less, so it's good. And I posted. I want to believe that we took out the trash. That for once, the good apples are getting rid of the rotten apples. I say thank you so much for taking out the trash. Thank you for taking out the trash, because I mean, it's not like, yeah, that's what they say. No, that's fake. That's fake feminism. That's not fake feminism. That's everybody, because if you don't denounce it, if you don't like really take actions to say no, no, we are not going to keep quiet, and we think this separation, also with our men, we it's like they are our right leg and we are their left leg. literally, literally. Like they say that we are actually like that, crossed. Okay, well, whatever. So make that adjustment. But I mean, it's all about balance and harmony. Not too much feminine, not too much masculine. Like I was watching a lecture also over here with Dynast, um, talking about the, I don't know, very dramatic when talking about the patriarchy. I should say the violent patriarchy, whatever. And talking about, you know, spiritual traditions. I was like, just kind of like the fact that you're just saying it like that, it's not very peaceful. And you're already like saying, anyway, sidetrack.
So I think what's missing there in that link is to create, and it also goes to speak to what the country's Africa's prevailing enabling environment is. Right? If the government in Ghana creates a friendly business environment for Africans to come back home, and I'm not talking only Africans who just recently left, but even African Americans to come back home and bring their skills and integrate into the system, or do business, run businesses relatively smoothly, not with a lot of tax burdens or permit burdens and all of these things. If governments were to create these enabling environments, I think a lot of people would opt to come home, right? A lot of people would. So, and I'm going to ask more people, but I happen I'm in this community of people who study, and I'm doing a master of philosophy right now, and I know other people who are also doing their masters in different programs. And what I think is people just Africans in general just try to look out for themselves. And it may sound bad, but that's because there hasn't been a national consciousness built into most African people. If you speaking to me, I am an outlier. And Dallas knows this, going to Africa a lot. Not many people have this African consciousness. It's just a fact. If you want to just go on the streets and ask people random things about Africa, they have no clue. And not because they don't have access to the information, they just don't care. They don't want to know. Or at least they have not been, their appetite, for that has not been, tested or, people have not been pushed to become Pan-African and to think African. And that goes back to the education that we have in Africa. We have a Western legacy education. You come to Ghana, it's a British legacy, pretty much. We used to have the O and A levels, which we copied directly from the British. We have a relatively different system now, but if you look at the curriculum, it doesn't teach you to become Pan-African. And some of us got it from our parents and from, reading a lot and hanging out with a few people. We were lucky, some of us were lucky, hanging out with a few people.
Yeah, that's like in Chile, in so-called, South America, Avillala, they never changed the constitution. I'm talking about in the 70s with Salvador Allende. He never changed the constitution, so they ended up killing him in a coup d'état. And it was September 11, 9/11. So that is the original date that I know. I know it's original date, right? But I see that. I think that's what's happened a lot of in Africa, in African countries.
Who have an African thought and consciousness. So
I agree.
that's a big part of the problem. The consciousness so the consciousness of African people in general is a problem because we have not gone.
And it's so crazy because I mean some African people diasporic, I'm not gonna say which side of the Atlantic. I mean, kind of like say, you guys, Latinos or whatever, call us Hispanics or whatever, you think you're white. You think you're like, like we are, raccoons. I'm like, yeah. That's fucked up. I say, yeah, absolutely right. That's horrendous. But then I get to, treat them after a while, whatever. And you see Eurocentrism, Eurocentrism, Eurocentrism. They like this, they like that, they don't like, you know. Then you go like, wow. then I go, wow, how is that possible? Because to us it was easier to fool us because they say, oh, you're pale. They already raped you, whatever. However they got in, but they got in, right? And I was like, okay. So I did not even know the concept of race, even when I was benefiting from it. The proximity to the whiteness, my stature, the fact that I'm not your typical Mexican curious, or like mulata, uh, um, with high yellow. Anyway, whatever.
That education, and which also goes back to the kind of leadership we have. And the kind of leadership we have is a leadership that, designs the educational system, right? The Ministry of Education, what we put into the curriculum, and how we design the education that people are supposed to have. All of this feeds into the consciousness and what people think about themselves, what Africans think about themselves. Unfortunately, and I finance will agree with me, most African Africans, they're not conscious.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, I heavily agree with you. But that's the problem though. It's like if Africa is really looking at Russia right now and see what it's doing to Ukraine, what the rules are only European.
So what you have is individualism and people.
Yeah, he goes the bottom. He'll come back in a second. Guys, make sure you got like button and please hit the like button. Let's wait for a one.
Divine Conquer.
Thanks, Black Line, and see you about it. Great show, Diana. See you, man.
Okay, go.
But
Wow.
I'll be back. Go ahead. Okay. I can close the one. Go ahead. Senior?
Yeah. So yeah, you need to understand. Some of you who live, like most of you who live, in America, for instance, you know firsthand what it means to be African. You learn that when they go abroad, and most of them learn that when they go abroad, and the response to that treatment is, well, let me suck up to it because I don't have a better option back home, and let me, work a few years of my life and get out of here. Most people, that's like the thinking. Whether that's the best way to think, well, that's up to you to judge. But I think that there's a leadership problem in Africa where we have a lot of leaders who are not giving Africans the education they need, education that gives them that sense of pride, that sense of being an African, wanting Africa to succeed, and doing their best to make Africa succeed. And because these leaders are not doing that, they are teaching the young Africans to also be greedy and look out for themselves. Because what our leaders are doing is they're selling out Africa. That's what they do. Oh yeah. Also as a bargaining chip. And was it Black Lion or the other brother? But why are we not using our resources as bargaining chip? The truth is this: we're not able to do that because we have not built our power base. What Africans are living off of and have been living off of since most of us gained independence in the last 100 years is we've been living off of exporting raw natural resources, living off of grants and so-called free money, which is not free anyway. And we don't get the maximum, output out of our resources, even human resources. We don't get the maximum out of them. Is the answer to complain? No. I think that Africa is ripe for something. African youth, for instance, in Ghana, they want jobs. A lot of them have gone to school, and that's kind of, it also pushes into the debate about the brain drain syndrome.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of Africans, brilliant guys and ladies, leaving the university, getting their bachelor's degrees, and they don't have anything to do. Some people would say, well, get creative, like do something. And the truth is, the enabling environment does not exist. For instance, if you try to open a business in Ghana, first you have to go, if you want to do it legally, you go for registration, cost you money, cost you time, and then within just a month or two, you have these tax guys coming to you, the revenue authority, what you guys call IRS over there, right?
Wow, in 2 months? Corporations, they don't even pay taxes. I used to here, I think it was promotions in my hometown in Mexico. And it was like this academy, whatever. It was like, oh no, we train you exactly, what the corporations want. Because we got the whatever, even if they got a name. I don't know, I don't know if they still have it. I don't remember seeing it in English though. But I seen like insinuations, like they're like saying like, oh yes, guarantee a job. And I'm sure that if I was there to ask, why you guarantee the job? Oh, because we're in cahoots with the corporations. And they just tell us exactly what you need. But for that particular job. So you're spending all that money that you're going to be outdated in less than 10 years, probably, at this rate.
So here you are, a young graduate, open a business or, for instance, a farm, or so, because a lot of them invest their money abroad. No.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they are being trained exactly what to do for the corporations to stay on top of the earnings, not for for the peoples to go back to their small town, village, city, whatever they are, and just to get people out of the ditch, whatever. Why would they do that? Why would they train us? Why would they share? Like I say, you think if the Bible was, so great, you think they would let us read it?
Invest even the stolen money in Africa. They don't. They invested abroad. They buy big houses abroad. They buy big houses in Europe and America, and they suck their country dry. There's no money in the system. So a lot of changes are going to have to take place. I think the youth in Ghana, for instance, are beginning to advocate for better systems, and it's more vocal now, and people are really getting into it. But until we get there, we're not going to get anything out of these leaders because they're in charge of the national purse, and they decide what should happen in the country, the educational system, what goes in there. For instance, there's an ideological war going on in Ghana right now with the current party being anti-Nkrumah, because of some things that happened in the past and so on. So they're not going to promote like Nkrumah's policies. But Nkrumah is the greatest African that ever existed in the last 1,000 years. That's
I
all.
was like that, but from my perspective, he wasn't very good personally. He wasn't very good.
Yeah. And he did create exactly, and he did create a bridge, by the way. He and Nkrumah realized some of the dreams of Marcus Garvey outside of, the diaspora. And the Black Star Line is there. It's one example. And he did open up the country for African Americans to come to Ghana. Malcolm X came to Ghana. Du Bois came to Ghana, died in Ghana. And he has a center, just by the American Embassy. I don't know if Ghana's went there when he was in Ghana. But
you know what? I've never been to the Du Bois Center.
It's a nice place, It's a nice, location, cultural center, good location, and so just for us to understand and to link back to what it is that we are refusing to learn from all of these upheavals in the world, like the one that is happening in Ukraine right now. And that is, knocking us, on the head to get up and learn, is this. You have to build your power base. Every race or group in the world is respected because they have power. It's not because anybody likes them. India is respected because they're virtually 1 billion strong, and they have their stuff going on. China is that cannot be ignored by anybody. Russia cannot be ignored. Africans don't want to build their power base because they have all these leaders who don't really represent the interests of Africa. And we have. Mhm. So we have these a lot of.
Sorry, I mean, like, as soon as I want to speak, right? Sorry, but at the same time, you need to worry about your presentation. It's not respectability. It's not this, that. It's just there's something keep popping to the mind these days. It's just like, come on. It's not because she cannot help it. She can help it, but she chooses not to help it. Because at one point you realize this is what your daughter is gonna do. Okay, that was back in the days. Now it's just your son. That's what's gonna do. It's gonna look like a guy. It's gonna look like it's gonna look, really good look. But inside, only learn from you. That's only that. Only learn from you. The hand that is supposed to, be rocking the cradle. But she's at work. To work.
Puppet leaders. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the fact. Puppet leaders who get elected, and some of us, I think democracy is beautiful, but
all these gays and whatever, and like, oh, I think I'm cute. I was watching this morning. I was just like for gossip. Nicki Minaj, trying to attack Kevin Samuels, and that was a show. I mean, she looked a lot more pale. And actually, in the picture of the video, the icon, whatever, it's an old one. That was like more early Nicki, and you can see the color completely. So he said, "It's like, how come these bitches they think they're cute, being gross, like around, burping and all that shit. It's just like I don't know, it's brainwashing. It is brainwashing. I hope that's not me." Because
in the US,
I say, if you spot it, you got it.
you have what you call the electoral college and the popular vote, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So in Africa, I think we should do the same thing because you have a lot of ignorant Africans who vote for parties based on ethnic sentiments.
Listen, it's here in America too. I mean, over about 90% of black people vote for the Democratic Party. I don't get it. So,
Then we said anything at that point. Now it's one thing.
Yeah. So I think that what we need in Africa is to maybe experiment with if we can get a number of educated people to form the electoral college that eventually decides who leads this country. And there are a lot of educated Africans who can actually weigh a person's thoughts and like his vision for the country through debates and what have you and their background and so on. But to throw it to the average African population that is not conscious right now of who actually represents their interests, is a bit of a disservice, in terms of democracy. Because if you ask, for instance, I live in Ghana, if I go out and ask somebody, okay, NDC or NPP, which one do you like? It's like, well, I like NPP. Why? What is superior about NPP policy? And like what they have done for Ghana or have promised to do. They can't tell you. So to have this system of people who don't really give a damn about what the political message is and what the ideology of a particular party or an individual is and what the person can do for the country. Akan, ethnic group where the majority and whoever is in Akan is like the predominant party that's Akan, we're voting for them. We don't give a damn if the other party has a better option or not.
I agree. Like,
Meanwhile, there could be a lot of Africans, looking over the shoulder. They could be looking over the shoulder. They could be looking in the neighborhood. They could be looking like, maybe a cracker. And no, it's right here. It's already all this time. It's been right here. So, like I say, ignorance. He mentioned ignorant. He say ignorant. A lot of times we think that's a major curse, offense. And it's not. It's an adjective.
There's multiple aspects of that. Something to that. Even our question, the tribalists, like, how come tribalists and y'all live in the same damn country? Where all y'all really benefit off the natural resources in the land. I y'all still out this grudge and fighting, the Europeans and the Europeans that have done more damage to you is something than your own tribes ever done to each other.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the stand. Yeah, I agree. That's like the sad
And
reality.
never give up on them.
It's still
No.
like
On
it's still
Mexicans,
raising
yes.
new generation of mentality.
Yeah, but like I want to put this out there. Realistically speaking, even with all the problems, what some people who have money can do in Africa right now, and what advantages they get. Food never goes out of fashion in Africa and in the world. Invest in agriculture, invest in farming, come establish a ranch, get a what do you call it, a commercial farm. Even with all the problems, you're gonna get money for your products. You will. That I can assure you. So
Yeah, but I don't know. Get insurance policies. I mean, first hire different lawyers and get insurance policy. Make sure you read every fine print. You gotta know if something happened to you, your family's gonna collect all these 3, 4, or 5 insurances and see how they like it. Be vigilant because a lot of accidents, like Malcolm X's father accident, did not pay the policy. And they say his mother was very pale. And, she got no power. They knew she got no power, so that's why they love us. They want us to be in politics everywhere. They can do with us whatever, put in an insane asylum.
I agree.
yeah, so I think that Africans.
Go ahead.
So I think that Africans, both in Africa and in the diaspora, especially in America, I know there are challenges, with doing business in Africa and so on. But if you manage to pull off a big, maybe cooperative, like Dynax knows a lot of people, come together, get some money together, do it together, because the more money you have, like the bigger you can do it. Just do one farm. Do an integrated farm. Do a big farm of maize, soybean, rice. Do a bunch of cattle. It's going to pay off. I'm going to give you that. If you keep a close eye on it, and all of that, make sure it's well managed. It's going to pay off, because food is a commodity that is in high demand everywhere in the world right now, for several purposes. So
Yeah, several purposes. One of them is like we become prone to chronics. So it's like, wow, just our poor digestive system. Look at me, what time it is, and I'm having dinner at this time. Yeah, it's an addiction. I think that's just an addiction, and it's so hard to live it. And like the winters here in the north, no joke.
or realistically speaking, Africans could have filled the void that is being created with this Ukraine-Russia problem in, for instance, Egypt and most of North Africa by growing more wheat and selling it directly to Egypt. You don't need, you may not even need to send it over there. These guys will come wherever you're at and buy it off of you. Just take it off your hands.
Hey, what would you really to close out, brother? Hey, before we close out, or while we close out, go ahead and tell everybody, ask everyone where they can reach you at, they can subscribe to your channel.
Yeah, so you can reach me on 0249 831 251. That's my WhatsApp number.
Say it one more time.
02
So that's,
Zero
that's,
two.
that's, no, the country code, that's 232. Oh, no, what's got it? 23. The country
Zero.
code got it.
Yeah, the country code is plus 233.
What, 233, okay.
So if you're using the plus 233, then you have 24
Uh-huh.
98 31 251. That's my WhatsApp.
Okay.
And I started a YouTube page, which honestly, because I'm in school right now, I've not been busy on, but I have a few videos on there called African Revolution. You can, find it on YouTube.
What's in your page to the subscribe African Revolution?
Yeah, I can send the page for African Revolution. So just hold on. Let me just put this in hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I put it in the private chat. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So just to wrap this up. Like what can Africa learn from this conflict, and by extension, other situations happening in the world? What it does is it's kind of a wake up call for Africa, and it exposes our vulnerabilities, like makes us see how vulnerable we are to these external shocks, and it also tells us to wake up and begin to produce on our own. And what that means is adding value to our raw materials, whether it's in the agricultural sector, whether it's in the petroleum sector, the oil industry, whether it's in construction. These are the things that eventually will make Africa a world power, to make it more of an equal partner in these games that are taking place in the world. If we're going to sit back and always take handouts from people and take money from IMF, like I said before, there are opportunities that this issue in Ukraine presents for Africa, is to provide alternatives for people who used to import products from Russia and Ukraine, particularly wheat. So those who can begin to look at how to go into the production of some of these things. Somebody can say, well, the conflict may not last long, does it really make sense to do this? It does, because if you're producing in Africa and you can match the quality and price that Ukraine and Russia are providing, then you're going to find yourself in a good position in the market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hey,
Black people from a continent and diaspora can learn from this Russian-Ukraine war.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it, learn from it, and study it. Because, like I said earlier, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they're willing to kill or going this far with their own race of people in Europe. Imagine what they want to do to Africa and just get some resources. Remember that. Study them, learn from them, and prepare. Because don't be surprised a couple years from now of how far they want to go to come after our resources. Europe alone will literally will literally destroy their own, will really get rid of their own laws in order to attain power. So don't you think they won't do the same thing to you? No matter how many laws they got, they will do whatever it takes to make sure they stay in power. So be prepared. Learn from the experience.
For sure. Yeah, everyone, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. So really don't be a Shrek.
Okay, so that was a good show. I mean, thank you, Prince Dynast. Yeah, living it up. Oh shit. Who the hell is this? Oh no, I'm getting to know more crackers. You know, because they got the monopoly on everything, information, everything. We're like, I mean, you see that on Twitter. You say, like, you want to find out 3 days from now, or you want to find out today. So you gotta go over there with the what's it called, the Euro Asianist. What a name! What a name! You know, and that's the whole narrative every day. You know, like, oh, we are not the same. We are different than the ones in the West. Yeah, very, very different, right? So different. I don't. I mean, of course, there's differences. I mean, like I just said, but I don't even know the history. You know, I know bits and pieces. You know, I know big part of the drama right now, and because of these casers, they have a hashtag to casers, Caesarian something. Look it up. Been trending. Not a lot, but you know, a little bit every day. I haven't even got a chance to look it up. But I remember, like, I don't have time. You don't have time. It's like if I was to, I don't have the discipline either. If I had discipline, perhaps I would get like right now, I'm gonna go and continue looking, and I, I think I let my gut instinct guide me. You know, to find out all this crap. You know, today I watch footage from one of those Masonic centers in the middle of the desert, camouflaged under the mountain. They're releasing a lot of stuff. It's like, dropper, disclosure. They're putting Ronald Reagan, you know. I'm trying to remember this video, and like it's familiar a little bit, but then I get like, damn, it's kind of shocking, and she just, I mean, you can watch it there, It's saying fed up with them, who the F they think they are, you know. All they need to just let us know. Basically demanding, we want to find out what's happening. I think some know what's happening. I think more people know what's happening, but we don't know what the hell is happening. Something from master teacher Bobby Hemmett. He spoke a couple of times. I don't know if it was from the readings. I don't remember from his readings, or it came from his dreams, or it came from his visions. So there's something going on outside. I think Dr. Valentine, he was Phil Valentine. He was doing that too. I mean, talking that too. Something is happening. Why the planes are flying so low? I mean, you hear them like 5 times louder this year after the lockdown, which is like, and now they came out with the bullshit, which is because of the antennas, because of the television antennas. I'm like, come on. something. I think like there's something going on outside the dome, the Thunderdome. Yeah, the firmament. I hope still firm. Anyway, I gotta go because I'm already desvariando. I don't know how they say that in English. Desvariando. I don't know. Later. How do you stop it? Stopped already? Oh, here it is. Duh. I used to do this shit every day, like 3 times a day. And now